with little pink toesies. She's really happy about being here. I'm really happy about being here. Yeah. Oh, look. Boo, 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 boo. Okay. You wanted to come up here, and this is what you get when you come up here, peanut butter. Okay. Now, go out there now and stop annoying me. I was ready, and then peanut butter destroyed everything. So I decided to go live because I really didn't fancy editing this late on a Sunday. And just after getting back from my retreat, so I was like, you know what? Feck it. Raw and ready. Up on the YouTubes. The YouTubes. So, hi and welcome. Welcome to Babbles Travelling Yarns. I've suddenly got a dribble. I apologise. No editing. This is the way to go. Hi, if you want to introduce yourself, if you are watching the live chat, please do pop it down below and I'll be able to see it and chat. I have a few little things to talk about and I was like, do you know what? If I don't start trying to do this every Sunday, then I'm just gonna sink into that months of nothing again, which I definitely had. And it's been kind of my cycle as well, which is rubbish. So I really want to try and, even if it's just a few minutes, do you know what I mean? Even if it's tiny little catch up, it doesn't have to be organized, it doesn't have to be anything, but it just has to be me showing up, saying hello and seeing how you are. So welcome to Babbles Travelling Yarns podcast. My name is Grace. I'm coming to you from Limerick and oh, there's a hawk. There's a hawk outside my window. It kind of hovers. It's amazing how they just hover there. The wind, how do they do it? They stay exactly in the same spot. Anyway, he's over the hi from Ohio. Hello. Yeah, so oh, he's dived. He's found something. Sorry, there's a hawk outside my window. I'm very easily distracted. So, welcome to my crafty podcast. I am going to talk to you about a few things today. I just got back from my first test Babbles Retreat, which was fabulous. So we had half the people come. So normally we have about 11 people, 12. Hi Lisa, glad you got home safe. Lisa was one of the girls that came. And that was quick actually, Lisa, wasn't it? Or we spent ages up. Anyway, so I'm just going to give a quick rundown about how it went. And man, it was lovely. Oh God, it's lovely to be back. I didn't organize anything specific, like I didn't organize a yarn a yarn sale, and I didn't organize hi Celia. I didn't organize any classes or any demonstrations or anything. It was literally just a test just to see how it would go. Hi Bernadine, I just got your message, so I'll text you back later. Hi Nicole. So yeah, so it was honestly so relaxing. I was kind of worried about it because I was like, there's a lot going on. We'll have the time, we'll have the energy, but it was actually just lovely. So we had actually 7 people, 8 people including me, and there was 2 sisters. So it was originally just going to be 6 people plus me, so 7. But we had 2 sisters who were able to share, which just for COVID and everything. But there's no real restrictions anymore in Ireland, apart from just genuine kind of personal responsibility and mask making in certain areas, and like, you know, so, but we all did antigen tests before we came down. I gave out antigen tests on the way back. Hopefully we're all okay and we'll see how we go. But it was wonderful. So I ended up getting really sick on Friday. So I was actually really late showing up. On Friday, my hip was I went into work on Friday and I actually had to come home. James had to collect me. I was absolute agony. So thanks. And yeah, so I ended up kind of going down to the retreat very late, and we had dinner in the pub, and Ruth had set up, so we go to Ballyglass House, which is an absolutely gorgeous country house in Tipperary, just by the Glen of Aherlow. And it it was absolutely a really horrible, dirty weekend, but we were so cozy between the pub and between the house. So in the pub, we had the fire lighting and we had like big seats around the fire. We were all knitting and chatting, and it's just amazing. So we had, what was it, 4 newbies and 4 OGs, including myself. So it was a lovely, lovely mix between people who kind of knew the crack and people who were kind of new to the crack. But it's just, we just relaxed and it was absolutely perfect. It was exactly what everyone needed. I think we all just needed a break away from our houses and just a little settling into normality again. And it was just wonderful to like catch up with people that we hadn't seen or learn new things about people and meet new people. I feel so invigorated. I feel so inspired to like go do things now. And I think that's what was missing for so long. I'm still on the ball, by the way, for my sciatica. So I have a little bouncy break. That's nice. Yeah, so first things first. You have to thank Woolly Wolverine, Laura, for these. I'm actually going to take them off my feet. Oh my God, on a bubble, it's actually really hard to do. Guess what I finished? Guess. You'll never guess. They've been on my feet, I've just taken them off. They're not too smelly. They are my socks. I think they are Dragon Hill yarn. So I cast off the toes and I borrowed Lisa's needles. Lisa's there in the chat. And I did a Kitchener stitch. I cut it. We didn't have like small enough stitches, so for small enough needles, so I literally just cut it and unraveled it and just picked up stitches. So that is one. Slightly uneven because they've been knit for so long that they're still a little bit wiggly, but like that'll come out over time. And this one is the second one, which is a little better, not super better, but like a little bit better. And then I just had to weave in some ends on the inside of the sock as well, just along the heel, because I discovered that 2 years ago I actually organized the stripes so that they would work here, which is very fancy and organized of me. So this is the inside of the sock, and I had a couple of ends there to weave in, and I just used the duplicate stitch method, which is kind of where you just follow the stitches and you knit and you just sew in, but like you sew in the shape of a stitch, and I followed it along and worked out. I actually don't know where it is. Oh, you can kind of see it here. This is the end, and I just went up and down and up and down, and I basically followed a stitch there. So sorry, that's my nail varnish from last week. So yeah, no holes. And one of the guys that was at the retreat, Brendan, was talking to me about actually using a felting needle to felt in the tips, the ends. But I feel like I needed one of those like blocks, what are they called? Sponge blocks, to kind of get in between, like put in between and do that. But to be honest, over time my foot will felt that anyway. Yeah, so Cecilia's asking, and this applies to you if you're watching it back, what are you knitting while you're watching me talk? Great question, Cecilia. Now, I also wanted to talk a little bit about these because I knit them about a year ago, and I knit them on 9-inch needles, which are like tiny little sock needles, and I knit them on a 2.5mm needle. I remember that. They're very wide. The gauge is very loose, and they actually sink down on my ankles, and my ankles haven't lost weight. So I think it's actually the knitting is quite loose on the 9 inches, because I just think it stretches a little bit more. It's not as tight as if you were knitting with DPNs or Magic Loop, I think. So something to think about. You might need to maybe reduce your stitches. But again, you see, with the 9-inch needles, it's actually very hard to do a smaller circumference because it stretches the stitches because it's 9 inches around. So I don't think I'm going to use them again. I have a load of 9 inches actually. Some people love them, but the way I knit, it tends to be, the tension is quite loose, which isn't super for socks, but these are super comfy and cozy. So they're just going to be house socks. Look, I didn't even wear them for 2 years because they were in a bag with the toes still stuck together. So, you know, they're better finished. Ooh, it's a ball. This is, oh my God, extreme knitting, extreme sock putting on. So that is that. I also wanted to show you this. I finished this since talking to you. This is the beloved baby bonnet from Tin Can Knits. And I knitted out of Briar Patch Yarns, 100% merino lamb's wool. Sorry, there's also a bit of beans. There's probably about 10% beans fur in this. So cute. And someone was saying, I do have a friend who with a baby, so I might send, I don't know if Layla would wear this though, you know. It's, I don't know if it's like too grown up for her because she's a whole damn adult now, so I don't know. But it's adorable. Like I could wear it. You know? But yeah, so I knit this tiny one, which I really need to just, I haven't blocked any of them. So this is my baby. Well, I'd say this is kind of a 1-year-old one. I don't know. How big are babies? I only see the small tiny ones when that they're 6, so I don't know what a baby actually size of it is. Look, it'll fit at some stage because if they're too small, then they might fit for like 2 hours. I don't know how fast babies grow. So 2 little baby beloveds, and I'm so glad I did those because they really got me back into knitting. Like, yes, nothing like a little quick project. Someone was laughing at me in the comments in the last one. They were saying like, you know, that is so funny that the way you got back knitting is not to finish your 14 whips, but to start another whip. Exactly. But a lot of people are in the same boat as me, so I don't feel so alone anymore. So, the next thing that I did, literally I sat down and Laura looked over at me and was like, do those socks right now. And I was like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I did that. And then I cracked out the winder and the Swift, and I wound up the yarn for this. So this is what I have been knitting on quite a lot at the retreat. It is my kind of hacked Habitation throw. Habitation, I'm going to call it a Habitation inspired throw because I didn't actually have the pattern, but Bernadine told me that she did release it as a free pattern during the lockdown. I don't know if it's still free. So, and it turned out like 3 of us were knitting it all at the same time, and I'm just going to finish the row while I'm knitting. Yeah, so it was absolutely, it's lovely to see everyone's knits and everything like in real life. I just haven't seen knits in real life that other people have made, apart from like sometimes at my knit nights, like Christina would show up with like stunning, you know, the Stephen West Cal or something like that. Christina has a fabulous podcast in Russian actually. So yeah, we had an absolutely great time. We were there with Ruth and her family, and they were happy to see us. And actually Laura, the Woolly Wolverine podcast, has a new business called Woolly Wolverine Crafts. I'll pop it down below in the show notes. I might actually write show notes. We'll see. And so she makes these kind of box frames, and she knits these tiny little jumpers, and she puts them in like as representation of the family. So she made one for the Ballyglass House family, which so sweet. So yeah, she finished it off while she was there, and she handed it over on the last day, and I was like, this is adorable, because Laura's kind of been at almost every retreat. So she's pretty much like family there now anyway. So yeah, it was really nice. You're knitting your second Magic cardigan right now. I've never even heard that one. Two. Perfect. Must be good. So yeah, we were fed every 2 hours, as is the way. Some of the lads went up on Saturday morning and did a little walkabout by Christ the King, just by the Galties there. There's a lovely little kind of forest path, and there's a little fairy forest in there. It's super cute for like kids actually, and grown adult kids as well. I'm a lot slower than I thought I was. Sorry, I stopped in the middle of a row again, but that was because we on Sunday then we had a little like a maker's meal on Saturday night, and we had a little raffle at the end, and then we had breakfast then on Sunday, had a little sit, had a little knit, and then it was very difficult to get people out. Of course it was. Like, it's so lovely. So no one really wanted to leave, but I said, listen, let's compromise by going up to Arlo House Hotel and having lunch up there. So 4 of us went up, including me, and we had a lovely lunch there. So, oh, can we say how you knit? Sure. So I am a thrower, but I guess I'm a flicker. So I'm just on the last 3 there. So I knit, I flick, I use my first finger quite a lot, so I covered that up there, but I'm a flicker. So I've just, right, now I've come to the end of that row and now I'm able to show you. So I am knitting the Habitation throw in a big square. This is out of Sweet Georgia Party of 5, and it's a beautiful fade. It's absolutely beautiful. I have also been fading them as you go through. It's all garter and eyelets, and then you increase on the sides, and then just here, I hope that's decreasing. Yeah, so I've just started to decrease on the corners there. Probably see it a bit easier. So that's the decreasing. I did a little eyelet row for the middle, and then this is the decrease. So the middle section is going to be a dark blue, and I'm actually going to be fading back out into the same colors. Now I was going to do a purple on the other side, but I think I'm going to do the same colors and purple as the edge. And we had a little consensus, and thank goodness, because sometimes you just need other people's opinions as well. Do you know, just a little, I don't know what to do, I don't really care either way, what do you think would look best? Some people's opinions are, you know, whatever, you can take or leave. But I really liked that idea of dark in the center and then fading out, so it's very symmetrical as a square, and then along the edges doing like a purple feather and fan, like a hap edge. So all of them are all skeined, balled up, ready to rock and roll in there. There's a couple that are the same color, but I think I'm going to use that as the edging to start it, and then I'll move into the purples, which are these lovely deep purples on the edge. So it's all a fade. I love that. Love a fade. I know it feels like it's old fade. Are fades old fashioned now? I don't know if they're, oh, the bag is gorgeous. Thank you for mentioning it, Cecilia. So this is a My Cottage number 9 bag. My Cottage number 9. She has an Etsy shop, My Cottage number 9, and it's actually the number, so it's My Cottage NO9. Is that reading correctly, or have I flipped? What's the crack? Tell me. Can you read that properly? I would like to know. Yeah, so she's got an Etsy shop. It's not flipped. Oh, sorry about that. So she has an Etsy shop, and do you know the best thing about these bags? Drawstring and little handles. Isn't that nice? Beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. Actually, I think she's got, I've told her there's a knit night going on Wednesday in Limerick. It's part of my knit night. Oh, it's correct. Thank you, Bernadine. Thank you. So, and Patricia, I think you said it's correct. So she's going to be at my knit night. So that's going to be nice. So that is a project that I have started working on again. Yes, that WIP. We're keeping accountability. This podcast is called, what did I call it again? Babbles Retreat Rundown and WIP accountability, something like that. So yeah, we're keeping track of all these WIPs because I need to get them under control. So the other thing that I was knitting before I wound up all of those was in my Deborah Makes Naturally Dyed yarn bag, another Irish bag maker. And it is my Boxy. What's in there? Oh my God, it's crisps. Potato cheese and onion crisps. You do not care for a rope draw. Yeah, it's actually, I love the fabric draws they're much nicer than rope. The rope kind of cuts your hand, doesn't it? So I really like those rope draws. So this is a rope draw one as well. This one's quite nice actually, I don't mind it. I really don't mind. What am I saying? I don't care. I'm trying to just make you like me. So I'm knitting my Boxy, and this seems like I haven't knit anything, right? Because did I put a stitch marker in? I didn't. But I know actually I can have the colours. So I have knit, whoop-a. Oh fudge. No, that's fine. So I have knit, last time you saw it, I was on this brown stripe. I've knit these 2 stripes and I've started on the orange. Hooray! So I don't know when it's gonna be ready. It doesn't seem like it's ready. Some rope is cheesy looking. Okay. I don't know. So this is my Boxy. And I need to just do a little measurement as to when I need to start doing things for the up bit. And I think I've done it backwards. No, I have done it the way the pattern is, right? So yeah. Your second rope is Rustic Cool. Oh, yeah, that is nice. Rustic Cool. Okay. I'm like, I'd be fine with Baylor twine, to be honest. But yeah, I am in love with this. I love the colours. And do you know what? I'm actually nearly at, because it is a bit cropped. I don't like crop, you see. I'm not great with cropping. So what I'm gonna, so this is like my hip here. So maybe it is actually, what would you do? Would you keep going? So it's kind of like here. That's very low, isn't it? There. What do you think? Should I start it there? Should I start the sleeves? I think I might. Or not the sleeves, but like, I need to look at the pattern. Oh no, this is another one that's gonna sit there because I have to look at a pattern now. Because my brain still doesn't feel turned on, I have to say. So, but I'll keep knitting away. It's just no harm. An extra inch or two isn't gonna break the bank. Sorry, it's getting so dark outside. Hi from the Netherlands. God, we've got so many people from everywhere. So that is that. So that's my whippy whip. Now I need to show you this. And I forgot to include this one in my whip pile. You said sleeve now? I see. If I do the sleeve now, that means I have to think about it. Anyway, so this is it's actually, I've done all the knitting. All I need to do is do the ends. I meant to do it this morning, but I got carried away. So this is my 2018 Fluff to Stuff project. I hand spun and hand knit, obviously, the So Faded sweater. That's it. And I did a little kind of contrasting blippy blip up there. So I just need to weave in the ends. Now this is one of those sweaters which is quite tight. I put on weight, hasn't everybody? And I'm just like, maybe I need to do an old block and stretch. But it is quite long on me. So, yeah, I think it'll be fine. Yeah. It'll be grand. Oh, the getting up and the getting down on this leg. I'm not going to do that anymore. It's pretty, isn't it? I had to respin both of the sleeves because I ran out of yarn. Is one of them longer than the other? No, I was just holding in the wrong place. Oh, that's pretty close. That is pretty close, if I have to say so myself. I'm proud of that. So I had to respin the arms. I had to get fibre that kind of matched. It's a little bit more yellow than like taupey mauve, which is here. But it's lovely. And I did proper long sleeves too, so it's so funny how your style changes over time. Like all the sweaters that I'm knitting at the moment, they're kind of loose baggy things, and I don't know whether it's the pandemic, the fact that I've put on a bit of weight and I just want to be comfy and I just want to be like flowy and nice. You know, your style changes over time. It's kind of cool. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, actually, do you know, I was just reading through the comments on the last video, which inspired me to keep going and do this one. Yeah, I need to get hot water. I have hot water in the back, definitely. I have like this thing. Anyway, so a lot of people have been talking about this green sweater. It's beautiful, isn't it? It is so nice. And they were saying to me to drop down one of these panels and, you know, drop down one of these panels and do it knitted. Problem. I'm no longer this size of human. I'm not, that's fine. So, I mean, I probably would fit into it, but I like I said, I kind of don't fancy a sweater that I'm sucked into. I have enough of those, if you know what I mean. I have enough of those zero ease sweaters. So I think I am gonna pull it out still. Sorry, friends, but I really appreciate your because they were saying, you know, drop down one of these panels and then drop down like say this many and like knit another panel. And I was like, I see what you're saying, friend. I do, I promise. But like if I did that, it's totally I've just figured out how to do it actually. I basically drop down all, or would go the other way, it would drop up, but it's easier to show you this way because I'll crumple up the knit. So I drop down and it actually move the knit panel over here and move the lace panel here. I just don't think my brain can do that. But also I think it's the wrong size for me. I think it's not what I want. And also I don't think I want a big chunky one. You know, I think this lace would be lovely with a big needle size with 4-ply. I think that would be really cute. It is nice though. I do see what you mean. I do, I honestly do. We'll see. I might try it on and see. Maybe. What is that? Oh my god, I definitely spilled curry on this bit. Bit of orangey. And it is, they are lovely. Oh, that's where my 5mm high-highs have been hiding for like 2 years. That's another thing about all these whips, like all the needles that are stuck in them not being used for anything else, you know? No wonder I keep buying all their extra needles. So yeah, so that is that. Now, one thing or many things I may have left out in last week's podcast was the fact that they were only my knitting whips. Yeah, so I didn't mention my spinning whips and I didn't mention my weaving whips. Now, weaving whips are hard to be whips, you know what I mean, because they're on the loom or they're off the loom. But I like to use them after as well. So I had ideas for the lots of scarves that I have, not just to be scarves. So yeah, they're a bit of sewing to be done. There's also a long-term quilt project that I just left out, which I did really get into, and I got chatting to, I went to like a quilting like day and I got loads done. Well, I got some done. I came up with solutions that had been stalling me, and yeah, and then I stopped again. But the thing is, that I don't really have a space to put a sewing machine right now. I want to keep the place clean. I want to actually start packing up a lot of stuff. So if I was to pull out a sewing machine to finish off my weaving and my quilting whips, I mean, it would just be a massive mess. So I'm just gonna put those on hold until the summer, because I feel like summer is a better time for sewing anyway. So that'll be fine. No bother, there's a season for everything. And then my spinning whips, I don't have it here, sorry. I just have one on the spinning wheel, and it is my Fluff to Stuff project for this year. Last year, sorry, 2021, that I hosted with Mina and Mars of the Hey Brownberry podcast, of the Knitting Expert podcast and the Hey Brownberry podcast. So yeah, didn't do that, didn't finish that. That's fine. But I have lots of ideas for it. Like, I really want to do, I got 3 skeins from Sweet Georgia. I split them into 50% and then 2 25% each skein. And then I did a traditional 3-ply out of each one. I accidentally forgot what I was doing in the middle of a Zoom call, and I just spun one end to end. So then I did a chain ply. So that's going to mess up the colors slightly. So the reason I did like 50% and 2 25% was the 50% was going to be the body and the 25% were going to be the arms. Now, I think I want to do a colorwork sweater with them, because I think the colorwork sweater would really make those colors pop. I think they would be absolutely beautiful now, but also I don't think I have enough because I did a 3-ply. If I did a 2-ply, I would have been able to get a fairly, because I used to be able to get a sweater out of 3 fingering weight skeins, but that's not the case anymore. So, but also the way I spun it, I actually have less length because I have made it a 3-ply instead of a 2-ply. So I have divided my length, instead of into half with 2-ply, I've divided into a third. So I've dropped it down. So I don't have enough for a whole sweater. So that's why I wanted to do a colorwork. So I think I probably have a colorwork for the whole, I probably have enough for the contrast for a whole full colorwork body. So I think I'm just going to do a really simple colorwork situation. I'm going to do a colorwork yoke, and then I'm just going to make up colorwork on the bottom, and it will just be nice. And again, I'm going to try and do it a little bit more boxy, a little bit more flowy, because that's the kind of style that I want to try now. So I think, so I need to find in my stash a yarn, contrast color yarn. I think I'd like a navy. I think a deep navy would be lovely, because the colors are blues, pinks and purples, and yeah. So I think a deep navy would be beautiful to show up those colors. I think a light grey would be nice too, or a black. A black would be stunning actually. I don't know if I have any DK weight or worsted weight blacks though. I might need to dye it. I could do that. So yeah, and then it would be like real good. So that is another, and then I was having a little sleep nap before dinner on Saturday, because it is exhausted being fed and talking to your friends all day, You just need a nap sometimes. It's the best. And I started watching the School of Sweet Georgia's new program called, I think it's Colour and Weave, and it's all about plain weave and how you can use colour to get your texture and interest. And she makes these towels, like tea towels, and I was like, I love that idea of making tea towels for my new house. So yeah, it was so interesting. So I was just watching the intro, and she was talking about making a gamp, which is effectively like a little sketchbook of weaving patterns. So I think what I'm gonna do, I have a lot of this cotton, because I want to make tea towels, so I want to use cotton. I have a lot of this cotton left over from when I was teaching up in This Is Knit, which I might try and do again actually at some point. But So I've got a lot of the white cotton and I've got these kind of blues. And this is just from Sostrana, I always call it Sostrana Grina or Sostrana Grina. The three sisters, basically, or the two sisters. And they have lovely little cotton yarns for a very reasonable price. So I think I'm going to make a little gamp on my 10-inch looms that I've borrowed from, well, that I'm actually minding for the guild. I actually have two 10-inch looms as well that I bought from This Is Knit, and they're an Ashford dealer actually, so anyone who needs any Ashford products, spinning wheels, weaving, blending, anything at all, and you can get it, you can actually order it through This Is Knit. I believe they're still doing that. So yeah, so I bought two of them just for, because I was thinking, sorry, I was thinking of the retreat has really made me wait. Oh yes, I'm sorry I didn't put the Sweet Georgia link in my last one. I'll pop it in this one, I promise. I definitely will. Yeah, so what was I saying? I was just so inspired to like start knitting classes and weaving classes again. I'm just so inspired because there are no knitting classes in Limerick, like basic knitting classes. Because I always thought, oh, I wouldn't be great at that because like, but like, why not? There's no reason why I couldn't start. So yeah, anyway, so I have lots of looms. Now I also was thinking about selling my Ashford Electric 3E spinner and buying a 24-inch loom because I actually have a little urge to weave up some baby wraps. I think they'd be so cute, and like dye the warps and stuff. I think that would be so cool. And then like I could sell on my 16-inch loom because you can do everything then on the 24-inch. So I think I'll put those up for sale. If anyone is interested and they're living in Ireland, let me know. I'll put it up on the Guild website as well, and the Guild newsletter too, to say that they're up for sale. So yeah. And also just to kind of move on some things that I bought and thinking I would use them, and I just didn't use them in the end. The plan for the e-spinner was actually to pop it in my camper van, but then we bought a house. So we might not have a camper van for a while. Yeah, it's going to be an incredibly lucky baby. But like, because I have like a few friends who, like loads of friends who are having babies. Everyone's having their second lockdown baby. Anyway, whatever. That's the age I am. Like, we're at 34. Everyone's either getting married or having babies. Everyone's gotten married during COVID, and now they're all having COVID babies. So yeah, I was kind of having that idea too. So I really want to make this this gamp and see where I go with that, because it's fascinating the way that colour really affects it really works differently in weaving. Someone once said to me that weaving saddens your colours, like plain weave, and it does, it mutes them down. But it depends on how strong your darker colour is than your lighter colour. Obviously, if you've more light, then you've got your dark. Do you know what I mean? So this would make a really cute gingham, wouldn't it? That's actually really adorable. Or like a houndstooth, that would be cute. But then if I was to put this and this, you'd get different, slightly different. So I'm really interested to start doing that. And all my looms have been empty for so long. And I do get the little urge to do that. So I feel like I spoke really fast and I have no water. I still need to send out prizes for the fluff to stuff. I really need to get my act together and do that. But now that the retreat is over, I'm able to do that. I'm sorry if you're waiting on prizes for me. I will get around to it, I promise. So that's that really. How was your week? How did it go? Actually, there was a couple of questions there. I'm just gonna double check what was going on there. Sister Nagrena, it's a Danish company, yes. Did I say it right? No. What about my new house? Great idea. Great thing to ask. we got the mortgage. We got the mortgage. It's going to be ours. What a relief. Unbelievable relief. So all of those cross fingers, all of those good prayers, it all worked. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm so happy that we got the house. Yes. Yeah, so delighted about that. Someone else said something about bloop. Linda still got the sciatica. I just remembered you got it as well. Hot water on the lower back. Yeah. I actually got one of those pillows, those electric pillows from IKEA, Central Island, Central Island Lidl, and it's working really well for me actually. Do I have a yarn bowl I like? I don't. I just use my bags. I use these bags because they have a lovely square bottom and they open out really nicely on top. So I just literally sit them on the ground and I use them. Because I move quite a lot from place to place, and carrying a bag is a lot lighter than carrying a yarn bowl, I find. This is nice. It's like a Q&A without the, having to think about it so much. You love to quilt, that's lovely. And yes, I do have a link to the Sweet Georgia, and it will be put down below this time. Sorry, you reminded me to put it down in the last one as well. Thank you. Thank you very much. So thank you so much for the congratulations. We are so happy about the house. Still needs to go through the solicitors, still needs to go through all the official businesses, of handover of keys and nonsense. I'm hoping to hear about, there's just a few things that the banks needed to kind of clarify transfers. So I sent all those off. They're all very reasonable transfers, and then we move on to the valuation, and then we move on to the solicitors. So still about 6 weeks away, I'd say, to be honest. That's optimistic. So solicitors can really slow it up, but I don't care. If we're in it for the summer, I'd be so happy. So yeah, delighted. I'm full of these plans now, and I was talking to the guys in the knitting retreat. It's so interesting. There was myself and Laura, who were in our 30s, or Laura's a bit younger, I think. And then there was some people who were grandparents, some people who were mothers of teenagers, some people who were mothers of younger kids. And there's just such a wide spectrum of life experience that I just loved the advice I was getting about the house. And it's just invaluable, just actually meeting people of all different walks of life who all love yarn. Yeah, it was so good. I'm so glad we're back. We're back, baby. Yes. So big success. I'm gonna go now and have something to drink, and I don't know what we're having for dinner. Don't have a clue. I'm actually still full. Oh my god, I was fed so often. Ruth, every 2 hours, ridiculous. So yeah, delicious. I'm gonna go now. The heating's turned on. We're gonna go down and watch some true crime, maybe. Love you lots. Have a lovely week. I'm hoping to get back here next Sunday. Hopefully nothing will stop me. I say that every time and then I vanish for 7 months. I'll try not to. I love you. Bye. Thanks for joining. Thanks for commenting. And if you haven't watched this live, thanks for sticking to the end. 44 minutes of me. Well done. Congratulations. Good job. Bye. Bye, everybody.